Live from New York, it's Ask This Here Engineer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another all black clad Ask Engineer. It's me, Lady Ada, the engineer. With me is also black wearing Mr. Lady Ada, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of electronics, diodes, engineering, products, everything in the week of Adafruit. Yeah. And some like crazy sneezing going on over here.
Yeah.
That's the cat. No, there's gigantic rats. Yeah. Tell them what's on today's show.
On today's show, we have a code. D is for diode. We'll talk about that and more very soon and why. We're going to go over what was on the show and tell. Another full house. The show and tell is massive. It's the show we do every week right before this. People showing and sharing all their projects. We got Pack at the mailbag. Then stop by. Got some world news in the some news in the world of open source software and hardware. Adafruit Learning System, amazing new guides this week, and a big milestone. We're going to travel back in time, look at the world of making and more. Some wearable news, 3D printing, Raspberry Pi stuff. We're going to talk about new products. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to have a trivia question, all that and more on, you guessed it,
right here.
Ask an Engineer.
Ask an Engineer.
Okay. Here we go.
We're here again.
Yeah.
As we are every week.
Sirens, sneezing, door slamming.
They're just like crazy.
You do not have... So some people think that you need a perfectly quiet place to do television and streaming and all that. And I say, yeah, you probably do.
Yeah. That would be nice, but we don't have that.
We do this live from the Adafruit factory.
We're in like the side of the shipping department. You can see all the boxes behind us, which is where we ship from. We have these nice black boxes that are custom made for us.
Yeah.
That's where we're at. Okay, but we're in the factory. We're keeping it real. As I said today this week in the interview I did.
Keeping it
entrepreneur,
real.
Keeping it real.
We're not going to do a fancy studio. This is our promise. We're going to keep doing Adafruit shows in the factory.
Remember when like somewhere?
Yeah, I sit right over there. You sit right next to the picking place.
10 years ago, like all the news stations suddenly started having like blue wavy backgrounds and like stuff. Like we're not going to do that, I don't think.
No.
We do have a green screen. We use it for
we use it for the puppets and stuff.
For the puppeteering
stuff.
Okay.
So let's pay some bills here.
Okay.
The code is D is for diode, and we'll talk about why it's D is for diode shortly. One quick thing, we have the sale still going on. So $200, you get free UPS ground in the contiguous United States, and a free Perma-Proto with orders $100 or more.
Yeah.
We take Bitcoin. And, here's the news that came out today.
Up.
Yeah, so Bitcoin's back.
Okay.
This is the Bitcoin price index from Coinbase, and this is from CNBC. And we've been covering all sorts of news about Bitcoin, and like it seems like it's stabilizing. There were some ups and downs.
So the last 2 months, it looks like it was from a low of, pardon me.
Yeah.
A low of 360 to a high of 660.
Yeah.
I feel like I could be on. What's funny is like you can imagine like CNBC or CNN like doing a report about Bitcoin. They're like, we have no idea, but Bitcoin is volatile and it's gone up, and we don't really know why that is. I mean, like there's often
Dish Network announced that they're taking Bitcoin for payments.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, I put it on the blog.
Okay, I didn't see that.
And then we did a report about how we're doing with Bitcoin. So you know what? We're going to continue to spin this wheel.
Us and Dish, yeah, okay.
Dish, I think Overstock.
Overstock.
There's a bunch.
Yeah.
I mean, Bloomberg tracks it now on their like crazy computer systems. That they
maybe
have.
Bitcoin. I thought that some cryptocurrency would make it. I didn't know if it was going to be Bitcoin, but it looks like Bitcoin is becoming popular.
You know, like our interest was people were building Bitcoin miners with Adafruit hardware and then spending the Bitcoins. So for us, it was like, oh, this is kind of neat. This is like toy money for toys, you know, and things. It kind of be like going to like Disney World and being able to like do work there and then spend like Disney bucks, but
instead of the opposite.
Yeah, this is neat. So people are learning electronics and then using the currency that pops out, the knowledge sort of, to pay for things.
It's interesting. Anyways. I wonder how many Bitcoins are, but the number that are being mined is going down. Right, it's getting harder.
I
wonder if the number is going down. I know it's harder, but if the actual quantity per day that are being mined, I guess probably written somewhere. Somebody's tracking it because it's public every time a Bitcoin's
It's an interesting chapter in this latest round of technology. You know, we are in cryptocurrency land.
Okay.
So we'll see. So let's talk about the show and tell, Lady Ada.
Yes.
Every week we have the show and tell. It's 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you go on Google Plus, and all you have to do is post a comment and say, "I want to be."
We're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, and they do, and it's a full house every week, and it's pretty cool.
I'm gonna talk about Full House while you do your
I'm gonna go do this
housekeeping.
Stuff over here. Yeah.
First up, we had Tony Nicola, who is part of the Adafruit West team, and he's doing some BeagleBone Black bit banging. And he's been experimenting with different ways of doing it with SysFS or memory mapping, because he's trying to interface with the DHT humidity sensors. Are kind of low-cost humidity sensors. The weird thing about them is that they use a weird bit pattern, and you actually need to do high-speed like bit toggling to read them. And so he got it working on a BeagleBone Black by memory mapping, and he's also like learning a lot about you know what you can do with a Pi and a BeagleBone Black. So go Tony, and he'll probably be doing a tutorial and uploading it to GitHub soon.
Yeah.
Noah and Pedro, who are a part of Adafruit South, have come back with a new 3D project. They'll be doing 3D Thursday tomorrow, but this is a nice little preview. They have taken a Celestron for a scope, which is this kind of nice, like high quality telescope that we have in the shop. It's a low cost but fairly good quality one, and they made a 3D printed holder for an iPhone, so you can put an iPhone in and take a long term exposure shot. So you can take photos of what you're seeing through the telescope. And they took some nice moon shots. They're not like the moon shots with Google X, but they actually took a shot of the moon. And they also made a 3D printed telescope to tripod adapter. So they use like a photo tripod to keep it steady while they're taking these photographs. Lewis came in with a Bluetooth remote that can control an XBMC install on a laptop. And he used the Bluefruit Easy key, so there's no programming. You just wire up each key to a button, and then you can control your XBMC from everywhere. And unlike IR, it doesn't have to be line of sight. And it's very fast and very responsive. Yeah. So Bluetooth is a better quality.
I like that he printed out his own enclosure with the printer bot that he had.
It's 3D printed too, yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of neat.
This is like the future.
Yeah.
This is like
one-stop shop.
This is desktop manufacturing. Vincent, who came in with a Castle DeltaBot a couple weeks ago, has now built an auto-leveling bed sensor using 3 pressure sensors in the corner. There's 3, it's kind of held on 3 little nubs, and each nub now has a pressure sensor. And then the DeltaBot head kind of taps a bunch of different locations on the bed, and it senses when the pressure sensor goes off, so it knows how. It's interesting, instead of having the pressure sensor on the head, it has the pressure sensor on the bed itself, so it can tell when the bed has been depressed a little bit. But the sensors are so thin that it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't affect the build. And he says he's getting like much better results now, less warping. C. Scott, who builds modular synths and restores old synthesizers for fun, came in with a modular VCO design he's been working on over the years. Showed off like how he used to do a plug-and-play modular, and then the final modular also talked about some intersil masters that were lost, some VCA chips that he has refound or is keeping. Actually, can't even keep track of them anymore. All sorts of modular fun. So check it out if you like modulars. Noah came in with another Raspberry Pi Minecraft project. A couple weeks ago, we had a Minecraft project where if someone moved in his room, it would open a door. So it was a real world to Minecraft converter. And now he has a Minecraft to real world converter. So when he pushes buttons or levers in Minecraft, it turns on LED and PWM in the real world, so he can go both ways now. And he's learning a lot of Python and learning how to interface Minecraft with Raspberry Pi, GPIO. So also like really advanced Minecraft hacking. Grant has a Raspberry Pi powered rover that he's working on, and it's pretty advanced. It's controlled with an Xbox controller, and there's a Raspberry Pi, and it's over wireless. And he's gonna come back and show us more later, but it's a nice four-wheeled rover with like steering and speed control, all that good stuff. And then finally, Nicholas came in with a J1772 Hydra e-vehicle charging station controller. So at his work, a lot of people have cars that are hybrids, like the Volt or the Leaf. I think the Leaf is it a hybrid or is it full electric? I think the Leaf is full electric, right? Maybe they're both hybrids.
Yeah, I don't remember which ones are full anymore.
Okay.
I think,
they have big batteries in them. You want to charge them,
I think the Leaf
and
is
they have chargers, but the charger can actually provide twice as much current as the cars use, and so they actually like half the charging stations not being utilized. So we had a controller that allowed two people to plug into one charger, and it properly mimicked the charging protocol and controller so that everything's super safe and it knows exactly how much current's being drawn, and you can connect both and both get exactly half of the current, which is still enough for these older cars. And there you go, you need fewer charging stations. This is a really handy thing, and he's based off of some open source software and hardware versions of e-charging controllers. I don't know much about that stuff, but Google for the Hydra 1772, and you will J1772, and you can read all about it on the Googles.
Okay, all participants on the show and tell get as seen on show and tell sticker, but sometimes we also give out other things like the fellow who did the Minecraft.
Yeah.
Cool, like Internet of Minecraft. Like in Minecraft, you change something and then it changed in the real world.
Yeah.
They also got a Python badge because
Okay.
we have Python badges. But everyone wants to know, how do you get on the show and tell, lady? How?
Let's say you want one of these stickers, or you want a Python badge because you think your project is so great. Well, you too can join everybody else in this lovely salon of electronic experimentation every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We broadcast here from New York, but you get to do it in your home. Just please wear clothing. And you can do that by going to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/plus_Adafruit and look for the thread where we say comment here to get added to the show and tell. And please put yourself on that list more than a half an hour before the show starts. Like 2 minutes before the show starts really kind of sucks for us because we have to like scramble and try to add you. Okay, so don't do that. And then you're like, you get added. Yeah, because you waited till like 2 minutes before the show. So do it a couple hours before the show.
You can do it right now.
Or do it right now, and we'll add you for next week.
Yeah, we'll see you.
And then you'll always get invited. You only have to get added once.
Yeah.
And we'll invite you next week, and then you can show off your lovely project and get a sticker, and it's all good.
Yeah, and the show and tells are really exciting because there's always like 10 or 11 people now. So
yes.
It's a full
They're
house.
full.
It's like a mini maker
We
fair.
had 1, 2, 3, 4,
every
5,
week.
6, 7, 8. We had 9 people plus one person who their webcam wasn't working, and we had 2 verified cats.
Yeah, it's a new thing online. You can get a verified.
One
cat.
was in a box, and one was skulking.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, Pack the Mailbag. Every week we get emails, letters, and more from folks in the community. This is from Ken. You guys are great to work with, and I absolutely love your products and support. Your contributions to the technical documentation on the products you sell is truly excellent.
Yay!
A very valuable resource for researchers like myself. Kind regards, Ken. Thank you, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
We really like that. All right. Next up, some news in the world of open source hardware. There's so much open source hardware going on. I'm trying to, for the show each week, I'm trying to figure out like what do I want to share and celebrate to all the folks out there. This week, if you watched our previous show and tells, you'll remember that there is a open source watch project from Waltech, and it's finally ready to. There's photos and
This
more.
guy is like he's like wall watch expert.
Yeah, so he's done a lot of cool stuff with the watch, and it's completely open source. And if you look at past show and tells and even past posts on our site, you can see this project evolve over time. And really cool and clever project. So do check it out. Next up, I want to talk about this. This was one of the things we posted up on our blog. And this is not open source hardware, but I could see it extending. In New York City, there is a council person, Ben Callis, and his idea is to have a open source act. And the way it works is you would have to, in a city, be required to look for an open source software solution before turning to a proprietary one. You don't have to choose it, but
you should at least look at it.
You at least have to take a look at it.
Yeah, like maybe OpenOffice is like, maybe you're like, oh, I want to buy Word, but then you're like, you know what? I only have to open a couple documents.
Yeah.
And like I actually only use OpenOffice to read Word documents. And you know what? It's great.
Yeah. So it's an interesting idea. And you can imagine a world where one day a town or a state or the larger governments around the world could say, well, before we buy a voting machine, we have to look at an open source hardware version. Because that's one of the things that I think open source hardware, that's where we might head to next, which is, what if there's something that everyone agrees that it'd be great if it was open?
Yeah.
Always improved, always secure, and everyone knew how it would work. Well, there's only a few, I mean, I think there's lots of things, but I think there's only a few things that everybody would agree on, and I think voting is one of them.
Okay.
You know? So
yeah, it should be open source. We should be able to look at it.
Everybody should be able to see how this voting machine works. And you should be able to improve upon it. And then, you know, these things are expensive and hard to do. It's not like people are going to, like, make them all the time. Like, why would you make a voting machine? So the companies that are still kind of holding all the cards with this would be the ones still making it.
Yeah.
But it would be great for them to have an open source alternative. Because every 4 years I hear about the person who walks in with USB drive and changes all the votes. So they get all, it's kind of crazy.
I don't think anyone changed all the votes, but it's not clear whether they're hackable or not. We don't really know.
If you don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. I mean,
if you don't know, that probably means it's getting hacked. So.
I mean, like ATMs are have been hacked, and they're ATMs. I mean, like they have money in them.
Yeah.
They're like chock full of cash.
Yeah. All right. Next up, so Adafruit Learning System, a couple amazing guides this week, but here's the big news. 500.
Is that the song for 500?
500. Okay. So 500.
Keep your day job.
500. This is my day job, and my night job. So the cool thing is there's 500 tutorials and guides.
Yes.
So we've always liked to say,
and they're all good.
They're all good. Yeah.
There's no like cheating.
Yeah. So one of the things we like to say is we're a tutorial company with like a gift shop at the end. And so that's the learning system. So special thanks to everyone who contributed guides. There's a lot of folks out there. And
you can now see number of guides per author. Because there's like author view.
And
maybe we'll fill those out with like blood type and like totem animal and stuff.
And special thanks to Justin and Tyler, who have really pushed what's possible to do with learning and guides and the whole.
They even pushed out an update recently.
And they push updates too.
Yeah.
And they're always thinking of ways to improve it. And what's kind of cool is we designed the Adafruit Learning System for one customer, which is you, Lady Ada.
Yeah, but I design all my tutorials for like the 500,000 customers that we have.
And behind the scenes, the authoring tool is fantastic. I think it's easier than like Tumblr. And then one of the things that we do here at Adafruit is the learning system is used behind the scenes too.
That's right.
So everything that we do at Adafruit is documented behind the scenes. So like which bag goes with kit. That's all.
Yeah, we have a tutorial for every product for fabrication for kitting. So like when we make a MintyBoost kit, there's a tutorial on like how to make a MintyBoost kit, not from the kit maker's point of view, but from the employee's point of view, like what parts, what do they look like, how to verify, how to QA, what label do they use, what kind of bag do they go in, all that stuff.
Okay. So let's talk about which tutorials are here this week. I'll start with this one. This one is the GPS logging dog harness. We're gonna have a little video about this soon. Ooh. But this is on the learning guide. If you like dogs, if you want to log where your dog runs around or do like GPS drawings with your dog, this is a fun video and it's a fun learning guide. Next up, we're gonna talk about these soon, but maybe you can say what these are right now.
I did a tutorial for the 2 micro lipos that are going in the store. I just did one tutorial, just save a tutorial. One tutorial saved is a tutorial saved.
Okay.
And these are the lipo chargers. It just tells you a little bit about them and how to set them up and what the LEDs mean. They're not super complicated, but I
Okay.
thought it would be nice to have a guide.
Next up, this is the Nokia LCD Python library.
Yep, this is from Tony DeCola. This is he's been going through and porting all of our libraries from Arduino to Raspberry Pi and BeagleBone, cleaning them up, and so he did a really, really nice job making a SPI Python library for this, so you can use it with a BeagleBone Black or Raspberry Pi or any Linux-based computer. We are making, we're trying to make sure that no matter what tutorials we write, they will be future-proofed, and we are pretty sure that any future Linux single board computer will have Python available because it's like so common. It's basically like the shell scripting of the last generation, but it's last generation still going strong.
Yeah.
So this is, so now he's going through, and like this week he'll do the DHT sensor and some other ones that are really popular. But anyways,
we're making a bet on the future, which is embedded Linux is here to stay, and it is where a lot of microcontrollers have moved to.
Yeah.
And we think that's where you can get the most value for some of your projects. So we want to make sure something works in one platform, it works in all of them.
Yep.
That's cool. Okay, next up. This is an exciting one.
This is tutorial number 500. This was the magical one.
This is why it's exciting.
Otherwise, it's not terribly exciting. This is a little startup guide for the humidity and temperature sensor that we put in the shop. This is a fairly low-cost sensor, but it's also very precise. Compared to the DHT sensors, this is like 2 or 3% precise for humidity, and like less than a degree or 1 degree precise for. Accurate for temperature. So it's got good accuracy, good precision for temperature and humidity. Works over I2C, really easy to use. We have a little tutorial of Arduino, wiring, test, all that good stuff. Just get you started. People really like these little guides. And I've gotten a groove. I figured out exactly how to write these sort of quick start guides. So from now on, they'll be much faster for me because I have like a standard prototype that I use.
Okay. Next up, this is the last one we're going to go over tonight.
Similar, this is the BMP-183 SPI barometric pressure sensor. This is a lot like the well-known BMP 085, 085, or 180, except this one is SPI, not I2C. So a lot of people are like, well, I want to use multiple barometric pressure sensors, and they couldn't. This, you can use as many as you want, as long as you have a unique CS pin for each one. It's just a plain old SPI.
Okay.
And we talk about that, and we have 2 versions of the library even.
All right, so moving right along, we have a segment on Tuesday. I like this one because we always look back at the past, what we've done, and we also look at what the maker world and hacker world and science world. So here's one thing. In 1889, the first long-distance electric power transmission line in the United States is completed, running 14 miles distance between the generator at Willamette Falls and downtown Portland, Oregon.
Wow, so Portland, Oregon actually did have electricity before it was cool.
You didn't even see this. You're just funny like that.
No, but it's true. They had the first long distance power line.
They were cool before everyone else started doing it.
Well, yeah. Well, they didn't have air conditioners yet.
Yeah.
Maybe they used them for fans though.
And then
so they were cool before it was cool.
They were cool before it was cool. And then this is kind of neat. So 4 years ago, we launched the Adafruit Order Watcher. So,
oh yeah, I haven't seen this in a while. Is it still running?
Yeah, it still runs. So yeah. So
do you have it like open? Have you had it open for like 4 years and it's just like all these little like?
So if you go to adafruit.com, and I'm going to show this to you.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, if you go to adafruit.com
order map,
you can see a live view of all the orders being placed. And what we do is we just show one of the products, and we put it out on the map. And I leave this up, and I see all the orders. One of the things that people are getting. Okay. What's neat is when we get something like BeagleBones Black and Sock, I see all the BeagleBones Blacks popping all over the globe.
Okay, so right now somebody bought some female header, and they're like in Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
well, let's wait for another one, and we'll check. We'll report back.
Yeah, and I posted it in the Ustream chat.
Yeah, everyone check it out.
Yeah, you can't post links in the YouTube chat, so that's why I can't do it there.
But it's /order map.
Yeah. All right. Next up, wearables.
Wearables.
Here are the wearable things I have. Basically, just 2 things I wanted to share and show. Okay. So I like this. I know you might not like it, but I like this next one. So this is a.
No, I like this. It's just so weird.
This is a .NET wearable, and I like this because we've tried so hard to kind of get wearables out there. It was kind of stagnating for a bit, and now we're starting to see a menagerie of things. And so this is like this next evolution, and it's a very powerful chip to be a wearable. And they broke out all the pins. Look at this thing; it's like a Megaflora. Like if something was called Megaflora, this is what it would look
This is
like.
pretty intense,
Yeah.
and it's cool. It's like it's a mix of STM32, this is Fez processor, and
this thing.
it's a little Flora like.
Yeah, I like it. And I'm partial to beautifully designed black wearable.
It is a very
electronics.
nice PCB.
Yeah.
That's a lot of threads.
Yeah.
You might need. What's interesting is, we have the Flora, and then we, immediately after the Flora was out, I was like, hey, you know what? I want to make the Gemma. I want to make something smaller and less expensive.
Yeah.
And we actually, per number, we sell more Gemmas than Floras.
Yeah. Okay.
If people want
So
small.
anyways, I like
Maybe
this.
people want
I
large,
like this
too.
project. So next up, if you watch Wearable Electronics with Becky Stern during the day, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you saw and heard about this. But this is our latest video, and this is Dog GPS, and I'm going to show it right now.
Dog.
When I take my dog for a walk in the park, I like to track our trip with the GPS on my phone. I get a nice little map showing where we've been. But the sensor's on me, and the dog is running around. She's playing fetch, or chasing squirrels. I'm curious to see how much more ground she covers. So today we're building a GPS dog harness using Flora, Adafruit's wearable electronics platform. Hopefully we'll get a nice little map of her activity as well as mine. You can learn more about the Ultimate GPS by watching this video, and then get started by visiting the complete tutorial for this project on the Adafruit Learning System. The Flora and GPS are connected up with conductive threads stitched to a sturdy dog harness, and a AAA battery pack keeps the circuit data logging for hours. I used a scrap piece of clear vinyl to cover the circuit in case Olive runs through some wet grass or encounters a slobbery friend. The only other component that's nice to have is this coin cell battery, which helps the GPS remember its location faster when starting up. When the GPS gets a fix, the LED will stop blinking rapidly, and we'll use Flora's onboard indicator LED to tell us the logging program is running. After the walk, it's easy to plug Flora into your computer and grab the logged location data. Then just paste it into Google Maps to see how much more mileage your dog logged than you. You can even use it to make geo-drawings while you're playing fetch. So go make your own GPS project for logging the great outdoors, and then share it with us on our weekly show and tell on Google+. And don't forget to subscribe for more wearable electronics from Adafruit.
Okay, and now we are on to 3D printing. I've got,
Okay.
And we're going to
That's
show,
easy.
yeah, we're going to show another video. Just one
Oh,
more.
yeah? Okay.
We got another video. So this is Noah and Pedro's latest video, and this is a collaboration with Phil B, Paint Your Dragon, who's in the chat. And they post a video every Thursday for 3D Thursday. And so our videos that we show here, this is an animated GIF. So I'm going to skip ahead. But all their videos on Thursday, we show them this week on the show. And this is a really cool project if you ever wanted to make costuming or any type of horns. And
I think these will be really big at Burning Man this year. These are so cool.
Yeah. And the
I
other-
want a set.
Yeah, and
I want a set like these.
like Phil B did the goggle project. I think the horn project is going to be,
Yeah.
and you can combine all these
You
too.
can combine this. Look,
Yeah.
we got the goggles
Yeah.
and the horns at once. I mean, they're not lit up, but
So
like
here we
you
go.
can imagine them.
Let's watch this.
You can make a devilish costume with these 3D printed horns. With a tiny microcontroller and some NeoPixel LEDs, you can fire up that next gig or party. Pick your style with either a NeoPixel strip or NeoPixel ring. We have plenty of flavors of each type, so you can pick the one that fits your idea. Check out our guide on the Adafruit Learning System for a full tutorial, the Arduino sketch, and circuit diagram. Both sets have tabs on the sides for easily attaching to almost any head accessory. For our large horns, we used high-density NeoPixel strips and strapped them to our goggles. Printed in Ninja Flex, these horns are flexible to the touch and look like they're on fire. For something that prints a little quicker, try these curvy shorties. Thanks so much for watching, and if you dig this project, why not give us a like and a share? If horns aren't your style, let us know what you'd like us to make in the comments below.
All right, so check
Definitely
those out.
think if you are going to be soldering, you should put some LED demon horns on.
Yeah.
That'll improve your soldering skills.
Okay.
Okay.
And next up, Pi Day. So for Pi Day, if you check the blog, it's a featured post. Stella, who is one of the folks who work here at Adafruit, and operations and more. We're trying out this bot. It's the Rapiro.
Rapiro?
And the Rapiro. And it's a cute little robot, easy to assemble, 12 servo motors and a motor driver, and it's designed for the Raspberry Pi with a camera. And her and her kids built it together. And here's the finished piece. And here's a live kid building it. and then you program it. So if you're curious about this particular robot, there's been some interest for us to stock it. We wanted to make it ourselves here. And they also posted up the files, and you can print out the files to make the robot on Thingiverse. So
that's an intense project?
Yeah. And then next up, before we get on to new products, we have a very special video. We're going to do a world premiere of D is for Diode.
Starring Amanda Diode Wozniak.
Yeah, so Amanda Wozniak is, I think, the most frequent guest on Ask an Engineer.
Oh, yeah.
She's an engineer. She went to MIT, and she was there with you.
Yep.
And super cool, amazing engineer. She had a diode costume for Halloween once.
Yeah.
And when we got up to the letter D, we said, hey, we should do D is for Diode, and you should star in it. This is the video.
And she's been wearing the diode costume in the video.
So if you ever want to know how a diode works, here it is.
What you doing?
Oh, hi, Adabot. I was just adding some protection to this circuit.
Interesting. Why does this circuit need protection?
Well, a circuit needs to be protected for a couple of reasons. One example is if I were to connect a battery to this incorrectly, then electrical current might flow in the wrong direction and damage some of the components.
Oh no! How do you make sure that doesn't happen?
Well, we use a diode. By placing a diode at the circuit's power input, we ensure that the current can only flow in one direction, the correct direction that we've designed the circuit to work with.
So, a diode is like a one-way street for electrons?
Exactly. The electrons can only flow through the diode in one direction, and they have a really hard time going back the other way. The stripe indicates which end of the diode acts like a wall to block the electrons.
Diode, protector of circuits.
Yes, but diodes do more than just protect circuits, Adabot.
Oh, what else do they do?
Well, some diodes emit light when we pass current through them. We like to call these light-emitting diodes, or LEDs for short. Maybe you've heard of them?
LEDs? I love LEDs.
I thought so.
So that's what D stands for in LED. D stands for diode.
That's right. Well, it looks like this circuit's all done. How about we go test it out? Adabot, are you coming?
Sorry, Woz. I'm an electron in a diode. I only go in one direction. Ow. Ow.
Oh, Adabot, let's go.
Okay.
That's probably the only D is for diode with the host dressed as a diode, which I like.
Yeah. There's nothing like this. So we're investing in these videos for young people, and we really like them. So
because it's done by two electrical engineers, we actually talk about electron flow instead of current flow, and so that's why a lot of people are like, that's the weird. Usually they think of current flowing the other way, but we're actually talking about electrons.
The next one we have coming up is E is for electronics. That's a musical number. F is for frequency.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
And then, it goes on. If you want...
G is for ground.
Yeah, you can download the free...
What's H for? H is for hertz?
Hertz, yeah.
Okay.
And we made an open source coloring book that you can download right now. It's free. You can also buy a copy. That helps us. But you can also just print it out. And that's the script, basically, for all of these. So
Yeah.
if you like to see things in the world like this, like it, share it. That always helps us, so we know that people are interested in these, and we're gonna keep doing them.
Yeah, they take about
a
well, we
month.
have a clip now, but they take about a month to do.
Yeah.
And they actually take about a month to do. Like, it actually does take a month. Like, it's not like, oh, we're going to do it tomorrow. It actually is like a month of work to plan and get, like, the video,
And
the
doing
lights.
something for kids is probably one of the most, when you're trying to teach electronic concepts to kids,
Yeah.
it's actually one of the hardest things. Because
It's really hard.
Because you have to get it right, and because these have to be short for attention spans for everybody nowadays,
Yeah.
it takes longer to write something shorter than it does longer.
That's
now.
right,
Because you can
it
just
does.
blab on forever.
Oh yeah, I could read out like the Horton Hill chapter about
Yeah.
diodes, and like it would be perfectly elucidated, but it would not make any sense
Yeah.
to somebody who's like 6 or 7.
So what we also like is, the maker movement's like, 10 years old when people started like talking about this like big resurgence in hobby world. Well, a lot of people had kids, and
Yeah.
the kids are now 5 and
They're
6.
they're old enough now.
The kids are now 5 and 6, and the parents email us and they tweet and they post comments and they said, "This is fantastic. I finally have something to show my kids." And the best way to make more engineers is to have parents who like this stuff get the kids excited about it.
Yeah.
And you and Waz are excellent role models, and I think it's really cool
Yeah.
to have these. Okay, so let's go and do the code.
D is for diode, not dis for iode. D is for diode.
And now it's time for new products, lady.
Oh yeah, it's my turn.
Yeah, it's new products. Tonight
this
is video night, so I do
Okay.
have one last video
Okay.
that I'm showing. This is the Gawkin biped video. So I've been
okay.
showing a Gawkin video every single week.
Yeah.
And this is a little short one I'm going to show.
Let's do this thing. Like there's a Godzilla theme coming for you.
Yeah.
Okay, they're
Okay.
so cute. I love the little ball bearings. They're actually like probably pachinko balls.
Yeah.
And they're used as like the counterweight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up, I'm doing this one. So here's the deal, folks. You've known us for a while. We don't know what we're going to do with selling MakerBots. We're still trying to decide. We know there's lots of controversy, and there's a lot of people in the communities of 3D printing, and 3D printing is probably going through some intense times right now. So we didn't restock our replicator 2s. So we haven't sold those since November, and we have the page, but we're probably not going to. There's not going to probably be an Adafruit edition, anyways. The way that they sell MakerBots is very different now than when it was last year, and so we did place an order for 3 MakerBot Minis.
Like 7 months ago.
Like 7 months ago or so, and so we have 3 in the store, and this is the Mini, and you can get it tonight for 10% off. We only have 3 of them. We don't know if we're going to stock them. I can tell you the way it's looking is we're probably not. We're doing great with the PrinterBot and the TASBot.
People love PrinterBot and TASBot.
And one of the things, though, that I always wanted to do, you and I differ a little bit about this. I actually want to have a whole spectrum of printers, some closed, some open, and you would like to just have open source 3D printers.
Well, I want it. The thing is, like, everyone has a MakerBot. I want to give other people a chance.
Yeah,
and
and
I think the PrinterBot is a really good, low cost, openly documented, openly hackable.
And the TASBot
and
is
the
the
TASBot
only,
is like truly open source.
Yeah, it's a FSF certified, which I don't think there's any other thing. So, anyways, we're always willing to change our mind, and we haven't made any final decisions about anything. But there's 3 in the store right now.
Yeah.
And people have been voting with their wallets, and it looks like the open source printers, because of our community, are outselling when we did have MakerBots. So, anyways, That's
Right.
what.
Well, we have them and we can't quite return them.
We have
so.
we have 3 and they're 10% off if you
All right.
want to do it. And to be determined what we're going to do next. Next up,
Okay.
these everybody loves.
Yeah.
No argument.
These are 1/4-inch mono plugs. So if you like modulars, or you make audio cables or headphone jacks, you can show the photos and then I'll show them on the overhead too. They're metal knurled, like not steel, but they're like aluminum / steel maybe / tin, maybe pot metal, combined into a jack, and we also have the plug. So yeah, this is the jack version. We also have the plug version.
I'm just gonna.
And they go together. So these are for making audio cables. So yeah, you want to go to the overhead and I can show them.
Okay, yeah, let's go to the overhead.
And I think yes, we have. I'll bring this down a little bit, maybe. Yeah. So we have a mono plug and we have a stereo jack, and they do plug together quite snugly. And then they have a spring strain relief, and then you can unscrew them, and that's how you solder the wires to the parts. Then you thread the wire through, and you close it, and you have a nice, strong connector. And then this is an inline jack, which is a little more rare, so it's a teeny bit more expensive because they're much more complicated to make. But it has like a capsule that you can plug into. And this is stereo. We only got like a stereo jack because we didn't think it would be as popular. We just wanted to carry one of them. And yeah, just you can use it for mono or stereo, and you can make inline connections, which might be handy if you're making cables. And there you go, 1/4-inch.
Okay.
Pro audio fans.
Next up, boards.
Boards. This is the Espirina. This is sort of an interesting project. This is a Kickstarter, and we told them that when they were finished, they're like, "Hey, do you want to carry this?" We said, "Well, why don't you wait till everyone's got their all the backers are satisfied?" And they said, "Yeah, we did that, and now we have these available." So these are JavaScript microcontrollers with a JavaScript interpreter on them. And so you can basically write JavaScript directly on the microcontroller via the USB connector, or you can load in like data through an SD card, or you program through this web ID that they designed that runs on your computer. Kind of interesting new path for microcontrollers instead of writing code in C or BASIC. Or sometimes I've seen once in a while like a Lua interpreter. This is a JavaScript, and they have most of the JavaScript functionality in there. Not everything, of course, but a good portion of it. And it's also truly open source, which I really liked. They released everything open source, and it's been ported to a bunch of different STM32 processors, as well as a couple other processors. You can see a list. I just thought it was a cool. It's a very interesting design, and I liked how they're taking the microcontroller programming in a new direction. And I'm actually interested in the idea of using JavaScript and like an more interpretive style language. I mean, a lot of people use C and C++, very powerful, but if you've got libraries in JavaScript for a lot of stuff, the sensor reading and stuff, then it doesn't matter how fast it is. It's okay if it's a little bit slower because of the interpretation.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, this is really cool. This is one of my favorite new products.
Oh yeah, this is the Qi charger.
Qi charger.
Qi receiver. This is Qi, the QI. It's a standard that has come out with a couple companies, like Sony and Samsung and like a bunch of other Android phone makers, Nokia also. So this is on the battery. Can you go back one?
I'm gonna go to this.
Yeah, that's the. You can also see it. So it's an inductive charging loop system. It's meant for like cell phones and like MP3 players and GPS and other gadgets that usually you would charge in via USB. But people kind of wanted to have a standard wireless charging technology. We have some basic wireless charging coils you can use, but this is a little smarter. This is a kind of a more intelligent system. One thing about it that's smart is it's either on or off. So the other charging system, like the voltage varies. With this, it's like either it's 5 volts or it doesn't. It's like either it works or it doesn't, which actually is a little bit better because you don't want to have like brownouts or low voltage or fluctuations. It's also super skinny. I'll show it on the overhead, but it's very thin. And it's very efficient. And you can get the charger plates. We went into a cell phone store and just bought a charger plate to test these out with. So they're pretty common, and you can use this to make anything that you have that normally would charge via USB, 5 volt, 500 milliamps. This would allow it to charge with a Qi charging plate. So I'm going to show the charging plate on the overhead because I have one
Yeah.
that we bought.
All right.
Okay, so this is the, okay, this is the charging plate, and this is the center, and it's it plugs in via USB, and there's an little LED here, and then yeah, this is like, it says like charger pad, S charger pad, and this is just a generic. You can use this to charge any Qi device, and it's got like it's kind of like a dish, so it's actually the lowest over here, and then this is the charging coil. Let me show it for you so you can see it's super thin. And it's got this rubber kind of gaskety material, and this is actually this is where this goes on the outside and this goes on the inside. And this protects the electronics from the coil. This is like a ferroelectric plate. And then there's a receiver here. It's a TI chip that's like a special chip that just does this. And then there's these pads that you can solder to get 5 volts and ground out. And so what I did here is I took this and I stuck it to a back of a LiPo battery about the same size, and then I put a micro LiPo charger. So the 5 volts from the charger coil, this gets 5 volts, and that goes into the charger, and the charger charges the battery because you can't plug 5 volts into a LiPo, you have to have a special charger. So you take the 5 volts into the charger, and then it charges the battery. So then, hold on, let me see if this is working. I'm gonna plug this in, make sure, okay. So this is now waiting, and then if I line this up, the red LED goes on, say it's charging, and the green LED goes on because it knows that something is plugged into the charger. And if I move it off the center, it doesn't charge anymore because it has to be like lined up fairly close. So let's see if I can get it to line up again. Hold on, okay. There you go. Yeah, it has to be like lined up pretty close. Yeah. With a phone, you would put it in the center so that when it sits in the dish, it automatically lines up. If you have like a project that needs more careful lining, you could maybe draw an outline so you know where to place it so you get optimal charging.
This is the first time this has been done live on the internet, I think.
Maybe.
Yeah. Are we ever going to have a transmitter?
We are. I'm speccing the transmitters right now, but because you can get the transmitters at like any cell phone store, or like we got one at a cell phone store, I wanted to get the receivers in first. This would be really good for a wearable project, or like if you wanted, like I'm starting to see like smartwatches that have a smaller version of this coil, and so it can sit in the dish, and you don't have to like plug in your watch. You just put the watch on the dish, and it automatically charges. All right.
Next up, Lady Ada, we've got more stuff. Did you want to? Oh, that was the.
That's the back of it.
That's the back of it.
Back of
okay. Did you want to talk about these?
Yeah, this is the what's the name?
Display.
This is the Smart Matrix Shield for the Teensy.
Yeah.
We don't have a demo for it. Maybe next week we'll do a demo, or we'll get a video up. And it plugs into our 32 by 32 LED matrices. I'll just hold it up.
Okay.
So I can show. Whoa. I can show how it plugs in. So you have like an LED matrix, and it's like a kind of a dumb matrix. It just has LED drivers, and then on the back you can plug in. You can plug in the Teensy into this board, and it's just a little adapter with like cable routing, and it's all nice. And this lets you, it's got like DMA buffers, and like there's a Teensy library for it, so it just makes it really easy to use a Teensy 3 with one of these LED panels.
Okay. And then next up, we've got this little camera.
This is the Pixie CMU cam. This also was a Kickstarter that was successful, and they satisfied all their backers, and so we're like, yeah, sure, we'll check this out.
Yeah.
So it's got like it's a normal kind of like camera module, but then it's like they also put on a NXP LPC 4330, which is like a mega processor. It's a huge ass ARM chip. And this basically does all the video and image processing for you. So you can, basically if you want to do a robot where you're like follow the red ball or like find the closest blue square, that kind of video processing is really hard for an Arduino to do. You might be able to do it with like OpenCV, but a lot of times like people don't have like enough power for like a Raspberry Pi or something, or they want something that's more real time. So you would use this with an Arduino and you'd pair it, and then you can just use an Arduino to connect to it via serial, like TTL serial, and say like, hey, like use the API and say like, hey, find me a red object. It'll tell you like the XY coordinates. So it's a smart camera. It's kind of meant for like advanced robotics. It's kind of like not like a Kinect sensor, but it's kind of like a really, it's like a smart color sensor for
Yeah.
microcontroller robotics.
Okay. Next up, all the rest of the stuff is our stuff.
Okay.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
Okay. This is the barometric pressure sensor.
Yeah. So this is the fraternal twin of the BMP 180 and the BMP 085. It, instead of using I2C, uses SPI. So it's barometric and temperature. It's really precise. It can do like altitude to within like a quarter of a meter or so. But this one uses SPI, so it's kind of nice. They just came out with it. And if you like the BMP 180 or 085, but you want to have more than one connected, especially, this makes it a lot easier. Or if you can't use your I2C pins for some reason, you can use any 4 pins to talk to this chip. Very handy little chip.
Okay. And next up, I guess, do you want me to skip to those, or we're gonna just do all the chargers
No,
now.
just do
Is
them in
that all
order.
right?
Yeah, just do them.
Okay.
Whatever, it's cool.
All right. So now we got some chargers.
Okay, so we have the micro lipos. And these are, we have a little micro lipo that plugs directly into a USB port, but these are little lipo chargers that have a micro USB or mini USB plug on them. It's a little,
I'm just gonna
yeah,
go back to the
you can
nice
kind of
photos.
see this micro USB.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one you can see. So this is a micro USB. And this little charger has mounting holes and it has like 2 LEDs to tell you when it's charging or done. It has breakouts and such. By default, they're 100 milliamps, so you can configure them for 500 milliamps by soldering a little dot onto the solder jumper. They're just like handy. I actually did them for a project where we wanted to mount a LiPo charger into a case. You can use these with any single cell 3.7 volt / 4.2 volt li-poly or lithium ion batteries. Basically, if it's a 3.7 / 4.2 battery, you can use it, plug into any USB port, you're ready to go.
Okay. Next up, we've got another type of charger.
That's the Solar Micro, and then if you
Yeah.
go forward, Micro Mini. This
Yeah,
one's a
now we
Mini
get the
B.
Mini.
Has a Mini B connector instead of micro USB. This is handy whenever you just need a micro connector. It's a little bit bigger, but some people like micro USB, or maybe your project kind of demands it. Same thing, little charger chip, 2 LEDs tell you when it's charging, when it's done. 100 milliamps by default, 500 milliamps also fine. You can see the Mini B jack here. The JST connector where the battery goes here. Handy
Yeah.
little chargers.
And then you have this thing where you can bridge that area right there.
That's that's to set the 500 milliamp rate.
Yeah, so that means it can charge faster.
That's right.
That's cool.
Yeah, but by default it's a lower rate. I mean, you can
Nice
always
touch.
charge at a lower rate, but sometimes you want to
Nice touch. That's a nice
go high rate.
touch. Okay, and then we've got these sensors.
Okay, and then we also have this humidity temperature sensor. So this is the HTU21D-F. The F is for the filter. There's a little white square on the sensor, and that's a filter that keeps the sensing element clean. It costs like 15 cents. We just added it on. Okay. And this is a nice humidity and temperature sensor. Uses I2C. We have Arduino library. It's really easy to use. It's very accurate, very precise. It's all around good sensor. I like it. It's a nice in between. It's a little bit easier to use than the DHT sensors, and a lot more precise, but not as expensive as some of the really high-end humidity sensors.
And last up.
Oh, we also updated the TSL2561. This is actually one of our oldest breakout boards. K-Town designed. It was like the original breakout for a light sensor he really liked. This one now has 5-volt regulation and level shifting on it. It's the same sensor, and it's a little bit bigger because we had to, put an extra 2 pins on there and such, and also fit all that circuitry. But basically, it's now safe to use with 3 or 5 volt logic and power, and you can share it on the I2C bus with other logic levels as well.
Okay. So guess what? This new product's later.
Yay!
Good work. You got through it.
Okay.
Okay. So that was new products. Real quick, code is D is for diode.
Okay.
And let's start answering some questions.
Okay. I'm going to turn
Yeah.
off this light.
Yeah, you should turn off that light. So start putting your questions in. We're going to get to these as fast as we can. So here's a question.
Wait, I'm trapped. Yeah. Okay. I'm not
So
trapped.
for the charger, is there any disadvantage to using the rapid charging?
No, if you have a battery that's large enough that it's more than 500 milliamp hours, you should use rapid charging. It's faster. It's always safe to charge at a lower rate, but if you have a small battery, you shouldn't charge at a high rate because it's not good for the battery. And it has a sensor that won't let it charge at a too high rate, so it won't work.
Okay. Next up, do you etch your own boards?
I do not etch my own boards anymore. I used to. We even have some photos on the Minty Boost tutorial of etching the boards.
I remember when you and I, we would etch, you would work on the Minty Boost and we etched that board together. You had you did it in your room.
Yeah.
Room. Yeah, we have a weekly meeting called State of the Fruit. It's the entire company.
Yeah.
We've done this. We talk about all of our numbers and finances, and we're radically transparent even inside the company, even just like we are outside. So this week I'm going to tell the story about how you moved to New York and you had 9 roommates, and that's how you started Adafruit. And you put all the orders in a little grocery bag, and it was hanging on your door. And there'd be, I looked at the stats because our stats go way back.
Yeah, we have stats to like day one.
You had like 3 orders. Was like, oh my gosh, this is working out.
We had 3 orders a day once. Yeah.
No, that was a daily average.
Daily average was 3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd only have to go to the post office once a week because it's like I'll just drop off the orders, like 20 orders at once.
Yeah, so that's, Adafruit always wasn't in a factory. It was actually just in a room, and
it was in a room in a factory.
It was a room in a factory.
Okay.
Next up. Yeah, next up. Are there any plans to have a Minty Boost plus charger in a small form factor?
We're gonna have like a Power Boost Plus charger, which will be like a micro LiPo crossed with a Power Boost, but it won't be a DIY kit because it's actually, there's no through-hole LiPo charger. I mean, it gets really hard to get these parts in through-hole. So we're just gonna have a surface mount all-in-one, ready-to-go thing. But there's no ETA on that.
Okay. On the Power Boost 500 Basic, can the low battery LB and enable EN pins be jumpered to automatically cut the power when battery is low?
Can that happen? I don't know because the low battery turns off when the chip isn't enabled. So once it's disabled, it'll never turn on again.
Okay.
Because it's not bootstrapped. Yeah, I think it's powered by, like, the enable pin cuts everything off. It puts it into like low power mode.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Next up, are you planning to make an OLED pad for the Flora? Would also love a pad with touch breakout if possible. 5 buttons on OLED pad.
I was thinking about it, but OLEDs are so delicate, and I was worried that it would, if it's on a wearable, it would crack. So I wasn't sure how we would do a display with Flora. That's why I think like the LED matrices, even though they're chunky, they're a lot more durable. Like the OLEDs, if you crack even a corner, like the whole thing doesn't work anymore.
Okay. Next up, any plans for Adafruit swag? I wanted to spread the love. Well, it's interesting. We put the Adafruit logo on our boards.
Yeah.
That's how much we care about the boards. The Adafruit logo can't.
There's only one Adafruit T-shirt in existence, and I own it.
Yeah, you have one of those. We have mugs for the show here when we pour liquids into them.
It's just for us.
And that's pretty much it. But we do have things like the Circuit Playground characters. We do have the we're the only ones who make the Horowitz and Hill shirt.
Yeah.
We got permission. And we really like people to cherish the logo on the electronics. Maybe we'll do something one day, but we really like that being special.
Yeah.
We see a lot of companies put their logo on everything. That's not our style.
No.
So next.
But everything is available in Adafruit Black.
Yeah.
Like Tiffany Blue.
Let's see. I can answer this one. Will Mo's Resistance ever be open source? Well, it's an iPhone app, and yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
The only problem is with the App Store. There's already a problem with people will duplicate an exact game, and then kind of change the name and everything. No one's there has been a lot of demand for it, but I don't see why not. Like, sure, one day.
I think we will eventually. Right now, we're not working on that app. We're working on Bluetooth Energy stuff, and that's definitely we're all open sourcing. We open sourced that app for sure.
Yeah, I'd like to, if anyone could send like examples of someone who did an open source game, like they put all the code up online, and then they also sell the app in the App Store. I'd like to see, because I'd like to hear
why these, I don't know.
how these companies do it, because I don't even know, like, there's so many requirements when you sign up for Apple and all the things that you have to do. So it's, you know, most resistance is a game.
I'm also not sure that we use all open source components because we purchased that framework.
Yeah, like how
I
do you
think
like how
that's-
do you do like Unity stuff when they
Yeah, that's some of the things about sometimes if you use framework.
Complicated.
Yeah, if you use framework. I mean, you can open source your part, unless it's like totally like meshed together, and then it gets really hard.
Yeah. Anyways, we're certainly not opposed to it. Okay,
Okay.
that's it. It's time to give away something.
Oh,
There you go.
yeah.
So it's trivia question time.
Okay.
What do you want to give away?
I want to give away. Like, you want to give away a micro lipo?
Micro lipo.
Your choice of which size. Is that a one? I'm trying to think
Yeah.
if there's. I want to give away an Adafruit thing. Yeah, I think a micro lipo, and maybe can you also give them a battery?
Yeah. You have to be specific. What are they?
A
gonna
lithium
get?
ion battery.
Which one?
The 500 milliamp one.
500 milliamp.
Yeah, because you can charge that. So I'll
Okay.
write down which one it is.
Okay.
500
And the-
milliamp hour
and the
battery
charger.
plus a micro lipo.
Okay.
Okay, so anyways, you have a battery and you got something to charge it with.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
This is easy question if you watch the show.
What's the,
Where was the first long-distance electric power transmission? This was in 1889. And I'll be looking over in the chat rooms. And let's see who gets it. Congratulations, Pinebender. You got it. Pinebender, email.
Pinebender?
Yeah, it says. I
Wow,
think-
they're like an organ and their name's Pinebender?
yeah, it was meant to be.
That's cool.
Email support@adafruit.com and you get.
500 milliamp hour battery
Yeah.
and a micro lipo.
Okay. All right, and that is the show.
Peanut
tonight,
butter and
everyone.
jelly.
That's the show
Go
tonight.
great together.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for
All right.
helping us get to that 500 tutorial. People really liked the learning system, so that made us make more tutorials.
Yay!
And special
Yeah, it
thanks,
takes a lot of time to write tutorials. Some tutorials like take a week to
Yeah.
write. Some of them take a month.
special
Phil B tutorials are like,
special
they're
thanks
crafted.
to the Adafruit folks that are here
Yes.
working with us, the Adafruit folks that are remote, that are watching the show. So Phil B, Tony DeCola, George Graves, K-Town was in the chat tonight.
Yeah.
This is a full house. We really like it.
Okay, we got people in the
all
show and tell
all
on
the
the
folks,
chat.
Tony DeCola, who's
Noah
in the show and
Pedro.
tell, and here,
Yeah.
and also Noah and Pedro,
Yeah.
and everyone who watches the show, comments on all the different places.
Look at all these people we have to thank.
Yeah.
Advertising Academy,
Yeah, not yet.
my parents.
And we would also like to thank everybody for supporting Adafruit. So don't forget the code if you want to save some bucks.
Get a replicator.
D is for diode. Yeah. And we'll see everybody next week.
Okay.
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Wednesday nights. Ask an Engineer, the longest running live electronic show
On Earth.
on Earth.
In the universe. In the
Okay.
known universe.
Here's